Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here today to watch the mid-season finale of the Owl House Season 2. Everything has been amazing so far, so I expect this finale is also going to be amazing. Do I have any predictions? Let's see. Other than amazing, so there are some shots from the trailer that we still haven't seen, like Luz floating in a lake. Now that we know that when you mix the water with the blood, you get a portal, I expect that's what that is. I don't know what lake she's doing this in, but yeah. I really think that Luz is gonna open up a portal to the human world, and she's gonna end up on the other side of it. Perhaps the Golden Guard will as well. I could see them having misadventures in the human realm, while we use Ida and Amity and King to follow things going on in the demon realm, perhaps. And then of course we get Lumity angst because they're separated. And we haven't seen her mom yet either. So I guess all that has to happen in this episode somewhere, somehow. I don't know. I don't know if I'm expecting it to be like super hyped like Youngblood Old Souls was, or just a little hyped because it is a mid-season finale, technically, but also TV seasons have been getting shorter, so technically even though this is season 2, it's really can also be treated kind of like did they treat it as a standalone story segment in which they created a climax for this moment, or did they really treat it as like just mid-season? I don't know, we'll see. So, yeah. And if you've enjoyed what you heard so far, please consider giving this video a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really help our channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. Starting in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, is this Luz's room from back home? It has to be, Oh, no! Oh, creepy Luz, what are you doing?
Much better.
Oh, she can talk. Oh, weird.
What's the for me, huh? Just cleaning up a little.
It's supposed to be conventional Luz? Ugh.
I used to love making yes. It sure did.
Is this the daughter you wanted? Why is there a trap set up for a bunny in the first place? Also, Luz's eyes aren't red, so maybe she's not a Grimwalker? Creepy Luz? Oh, jeez. What? So is she using the Titan's blood somehow to create like a mini portal that she can see through? Jeez, what was that? I think Creepy Luz needs a new name, like Boring Luz. I don't know, Imposter Luz.
Are you sure
Oh yeah,
this
that
isn't
looks
gonna, blow our
great.
faces off? Nope. Well, here goes something.
Wow, it worked.
That looks
No,
really
it.
different from the old door.
Yeah, but this is my one chance to see my mom. If it looks
This
like it's closing,
Looks
oh,
bad.
Those,
Will it be an
as
amphibia
impressive
like
as this is,
reference
I don't
though?
want
That'd
you
be cool.
getting hurt.
So did that have? Oh, there we go. There's that shot. Did that have her jump into like a mirror? I like that it's not an amphibia reference. I like that it's its own thing.
did I do something wrong? Ida? King?
Yeah,
Woody?
that didn't look like a portal to any world. That just looked like a portal to the in-between.
I wonder if I could see Amity. No. Come on, Luz, you're on a mission. Camilla is
That was
Zeta
cute.
of the human realm.
Oh, why would you expect magic to work there? You're not on the Blair Isles. Okay. Strategic lens flare. Whoa! Like I say that even though I know that she's there.
Stuff gone, I feel like. So this is it. I'm gonna have to run again.
Okay, so she's a demon and she's been ordered to do this. And she's. Are you gonna make me like Creepy Luz?
What's your name? I'm number 5. I mean, I'm V.
They have Latin on the
I'm gonna
demon
help
realms?
free you.
No, they didn't. This is further proof that Belos is from the human realms. He's an Englishman who knows Latin.
You're gonna be alright.
Oh, there's someone in the human realms who has been tracking Ida and is looking for her. Okay.
Is this it?
Cool. Those Revolutionary Age statues aren't believable. There's not enough horses or giant
Is
calves.
this it? Hello. Oh, she's gonna embarrass herself. I can't watch.
Oh, hey, Luz. Good to see you outside of prison.
Come on, camp wasn't that bad. Camp? We did have the best cabin.
Oh, so she's good at making friends.
That's right.
How did you know?
Is this the guy who's looking for the witches?
Yes, I don't.
Where's the light?
Yep. It's the witch catcher. Witch hunter?
What is all this?
Witch hunter.
See?
Ooh. Also, so far this is shaping up like not a climax, but a cool episode.
After watching a few YouTube videos, I learned the truth. Witches and demons are real. And they're all sent from Mars to harvest human teeth to power their time machine.
Oh dear.
You don't actually know anything about us, do you?
Get comfortable, demon, because you'll be in cages for the rest of your life.
Why is that your response? Why is that your go-to?
The team.
You even made me a part of your game. Oh, this is so fun.
Oh my god.
Ooh, is this one of those escape rooms?
I love her VA.
What do you
So
call
much
it?
life.
A lark.
In the 1600s, this was a peaceful colony until
A peaceful colony? There was no such
Two
thing.
brothers were lured into a
Peaceful
realm of
colony.
evil by a real witch, never to be
Two
seen
brothers?
again. People have stopped
What?
believing in the horrors of
There's two of
witchcraft.
them?
I know the truth. I even had some custom gear made at the Renaissance
Okay,
Fair.
do something,
So
Camilla.
take it out.
Hello. This is all so confusing, but who knew I had such a strong girl living under my roof?
Oh, she's so kind. Now we know where Luz gets it from.
Yeah. A lot of bad guys
Oh,
say that.
she had the... Okay, so we got like a little mini resolution. Camilla knows where her daughter is
Yeah, thank you,
and
Camilla.
everything. Like, okay, we're gonna figure out how to get her
You
home.
have a place.
Thanks for being cool about everything.
She is not okay with this.
Is this the only way I could touch you?
Oh.
Staying here was the best decision I ever made.
You chose to stay there?
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh,
Were you trying to live out some witch fantasy? Did you hate living with me that much?
Mama,
No.
no! No, not yet. Not yet! Oh! I'm being pulled back!
Baby, no. When you come home, promise you'll stay here. I didn't mean to push you away. I swear things will be different.
Mom, it's not you. It never was.
Promise me, Luz, please.
Okay, Mom. I promise.
Yep, now the demon realm and the human realms have to be merged. There's no way she can keep that promise without losing her connection to the people that she loves in the demon realms.
Now just rest up.
Something happened to her cloak. Can we see?
Worry,
Can
kiddo.
we see?
With everything we've loved up to you, apparent.
Okay. So, actually not as hyped of an episode as it's not like a mid-season climax or anything. It's not like super hyped. It's just another solid entry into season 2, which makes it kind of hard to be the one to go out on, but also it's cool. Alright, so I've watched it a second time, I've taken notes, and I am ready for the breakdown. In general, I'm going to go in chronological order, except I'm obviously going to cover the biggest thing first, that V is a basilisk, but more importantly that Luz told her mom that she was in the demon realms, and that confrontation right at the end of the episode. So we could have spent a lot of time having Camilla try to chase something down, as was kind of implied by showing her in a shot with red string behind her, And I think that would have provided some short-term tension. Like we would have been like, will she discover it? What's going on? What is she gonna think when she finds out? But I kind of appreciate the way that they did it here. And instead of basically making Camilla another POV character who we have to regularly check in on, instead they like use Camilla the way they've been using her so far, which is to clarify and add emotional stakes to Luz's choice between the human realms and the demon realms. And yeah, I really appreciate that. I think it's a much simpler choice that allows them to keep the momentum and to keep focus on Luz and then all the characters that they've already introduced in the demon realms. On the other hand though, I think it does a disservice to Camilla. This is only the second time that we've seen her, and it's the second time she's forced Luz into a position where she has to act against her own nature.
Editing, Gabriel. I don't think I really explained why I had this opinion of Camilla, and because I know there are some Camilla haters out there, I wanted to clarify. So Camilla clearly loves Luz, she supports Luz's creativity, she just wants to moderate it in order to make Luz's life easier, which is an admirable instinct, but she's trying to get Luz basically to self-censor, to moderate herself in a way that is detrimental to Luz. Maybe not the most detrimental. Clearly Luz had problems with bullying that were more serious than her issues with her mom. But still, Camilla is trying to get Luz to conform to what society expects as a way of protecting her. And as I point out later, that's what's analogous to a queer story where out of the best of intentions, your parent is trying to get you to do what society expects because they think that's what will protect you. That's what was set up way back in the intro. Now, in this scene, Camilla again kind of instinctually says, promise me you won't go back to the demon realms. Now granted, they don't have a lot of time, but again what she's saying is, this is a decision I think will keep you safe, you staying here, because that's what I understand and that's what I know. So I want you to promise me that that's what you're going to do. And doesn't leave any room for Luz to say the demon realms are actually awesome, or really express any sort of agency or tell her anything about what the demon realms are like. We're kind of done a disservice because we don't hear what she says to her mom when she explains it. But basically, it's the fact that Camilla, out of a sense of trying to protect Luz by saying, you have to do what I think will protect you, is putting restraints on Luz that Luz can't meet with integrity. She couldn't stop being the weirdo self that she is, and nor can she just cut off her connections to the demon realm. So just wanted to make my video longer by taking the time to say that.
And you can tell that Camilla is doing it because she cares, but it's still not a good thing to do, right? So in that sense, Camilla isn't coming off super well, and I find it really interesting that this is a super queer story, and it's not queer because Luz is bi. I mean, it is queer, like surface level queer, but in this case, I mean, it's tackling queer themes, right? Because this is a super clear allegory to being queer and having a parent who's just worried about you and worried that being queer is going to make your life harder. And so out of, a misplaced sense of trying to protect you, they're asking you not to be who you actually are. And so that's pretty much what's happening here with Luz and Camilla. And, we can appreciate that Camilla cares for her daughter and wants the best, but this is still not a good way to go about it, because Luz can't not be who she is, and asking her to is unfair, and you see how much it hurts her, and so that sucks. It doesn't mean that Luz is completely in the right in her decisions in this relationship. I mean, I find it really interesting that Luz's first instinct was to lie again to her mom. Like when she finds out that V is there and V can take her place, she's like, oh, cool. Then you can keep lying to her and my mom will never know. And she only comes clean because V is in danger, and of course Luz is Luz, and it's like, I have to help my new friend. So, Luz is lying, but her mom has really kind of put her in a position where she is compelled to lie. Luz is the younger person. Luz is a kid. Her mom is her mom, and her mom has made it clear that I don't accept who you are as you are, and in order to make me happy, you have to lie. And so it's just sad, and it really kind of makes Camilla the main antagonist in some ways of the series. So yeah, sad. Don't get me wrong, I loved Camilla in this. I think her characterization was really cool. I like that we can both see what she has in common with Luz in being super, super caring and compassionate, and also can see where they differ, and when she like blatantly says, I don't have the imagination for this, and just tells the guy this is what's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm sad within the context of the story that she's being put in this position. And then if I take a step back, I find it interesting, and I always find it interesting to find ways to explore queer themes that is abstracted from queer pain, right? Because usually straight writers, if they want to tackle queer themes, they will just do like a coming out story, or they'll do a story where a queer character is being outed or is being discriminated against by someone, or is being, thrown out by their family, etc., and don't have any idea of how to abstract it at all. And so I appreciate this, where you get like the queer fantasy of like, there's no homophobia in the Boiling Isles. We can probably assume there's some in the real world because it's supposed to represent the real world, but we never see it, right? We don't get homophobia or straight like biphobia from her mom, but we still get to see the same conflict and see how to handle that conflict by using this analogy. So I thought that was really cool. All right, so now, based on the developments in this episode, what predictions can be made for how things are going to end? Immediately when I saw Luz's mom Camilla compel her into that promise, I'm like, it made it even stronger that I think the demon realms and the human realms are going to have to be merged, because this just can't end with Luz making, there is no way for this to end in a way that is satisfying to Luz's growth as a character if she does what her mom asked her to do. So it can't end with her just staying in the human realms. And it also can't end with Luz just staying in the demon realms and turning her back on her mom. That does happen in real life and in queer, stories, but I just don't see that being the ending of this kids show, which has been so positive about queer life and queer themes. So the two are going to have to be merged. I think that's still a pretty safe prediction. I find it interesting that Belos revived the Basilisk to learn how to suck magic, right? So that kind of sets up the fact that the Day of Unity is going to mean that everyone is going to have their magic sucked out using the Coven marks, most likely, right? Now that we know that they can be manipulated in other ways and do other things. So likely Belos needs, but why does Belos need all the magic? I guess before I was assuming that it was to open the portal, but we just found out that you actually don't need a ton of power to open the portal. So what does he need all this power for, that he has to steal the magic from as many witches as possible on the Boiling Isles? I don't know. He keeps saying it's for the Titan. Maybe there actually is the Titan. Maybe the Titan actually is involved in some way. You have to revive the Titan or something. Or maybe it's to give magic to the human realms, or I don't know. But yeah, why does he need all this magic? So questions. But we can tell that the Day of Unity, Belos is probably going to suck everyone's magic out, going to use it for something, and somehow the end result is going to be a merging of the two realms, kind of like the end of Korra, with the spirit realm and the human realm merged together. Okay, so now going through things a little bit more chronologically. The in-between has a cool design, and I like it. I like that it calls on some deep magic tropes in using reflections, magic and being able to use reflections for scrying is so old in our culture, so that's super cool. The picture of Luz's dad / second parent, I'm assuming it's a dad since it was a flat-chested person with hairy legs, but you know, maybe you shouldn't assume gender. But anyway, there was a picture of Luz's second parent with a very strategically placed glare over it. However, since the picture is still there, you can kind of assume that either they're still in the picture or at least they're like, they and Camilla are on good terms. There was no face reveal or anything like that, and like Camilla hasn't spoken of them and Luz hasn't spoken of them, so probably not living in the same house, but yeah, hopefully on good terms. I kind of wondered if we saw an image of them later and like they were one of the people that was banned from the cafe, but I don't know. Then we learn a little bit later that there were two brothers, but you know, going through chronologically, you now see a statue of them when V and Luz go into town. And, you know, obviously that begs the question, what happened to Phillip's brother? Cool, like a whole new character is being introduced, and you may think like, oh, okay, well, that must be Belos. Like, Belos must be Phillip's brother. But I don't think so, because if you look at the statues, the brother is way like more confident and forthright, looks like, than Phillip was. And Belos has been characterized as like soft-spoken, like still scary. Like when you see him in Young Blood Old Souls and in the finale, like he still, you know, gets stuff done, but he is kind of more soft-spoken, more reserved, and so it doesn't seem like he would be that second person in the photo. Now, when he said like our entire family has been killed by wild magic, maybe that's what he meant, that something happened to his brother, or maybe his brother stayed in the demon realms and just lived out life as a human. Who knows? But now we have a brand new mystery of where is Phillip's brother? What's his name? Where did he go? We never heard mention of him in the human realms. He's not in the diaries, so like, did he get stuck between realms? Is he in that in-between space? Don't know. As a small aside, Gracefield is kind of a morbid name. Alright, so also when we're learning about Gracefield and the history, we see that the article that Luz V initially looks at was written by Jacob Hopkins, and I'm like wondering who that is. Was that supposed to be the curator at the end? It doesn't seem so, because he seems like a museum curator and not a journalist, and yet that article is written by somebody. Anyway, it talks about the town's history, and since there's a statue of Phillip and his brother in the middle of the town, you can kind of assume that you can maybe look this stuff up in the local library, right? Like, it seems like they were important founding figures to this town, so there should be some interesting and easily available information about them if you can get to it. Now, who knows when Luz will be back in the human realms, or if anyone will think to look for it, but yeah. So then we go into the cafe. Again, I noticed that there are some pictures that are covered up. There's one in the back there. And because of the rain reveal, now I'm suspicious of covered pictures. Is that Luz's mom back there? Also, why did Ida call herself Marilyn? Is it like a Marilyn Monroe reference, maybe? I mean, these are small things. They're not that important, but they were there, and I was like, okay. Then, like, V sees her friends from camp and is like, I'm gonna go talk to them. And it's interesting that Luz is still so hesitant about approaching her peers in the human realms. Like, we've seen that she will walk right up to anyone and try to make friends with them in the demon realms. So it's just kind of odd that she presumes friendliness in the literal demon realms but assumes hostility in the human realms. And why? Like, at this point, hasn't she grown more confident? I think it's telling of what Luz's life was like before, and I think I liked how they slipped those things in. Also during episode 7, 8, Hoodie's knocking on Hoodie's door, right when she's in the love boat and she's like, I'm gonna get made fun of again. Like, it does show that she was, at this point, I'm gonna say, bullied and harassed in her previous life in the human realms, and I guess it's just gonna be hard for her to face that. Like, even though she's gained confidence in this new context, it's gonna be hard to go back into her old context and feel that confidence. I also think it's kind of sad that because V was able to make friends, it shows that Luz probably would have made friends if she went to that camp, because of course, who's gonna get sent to a straighten out camp other than other weirdos? And as a weirdo kid who grew up in Connecticut, I can attest to the truth of this. Like, the high school I went to was a magnet school, which meant kids self-selected to go there. And we got all the queer kids and like all the anime fans and all the geeks and all the goths. And so, yeah, you really do like self-selecting that way. Now, granted, it's not quite self-selection. Her mom signed her up for the camp, but still, that would have been a place to find fellowship. And clearly V found some friends there. And so that was cool. And that also shows that, you know, Luz, there are people for Luz too. That when, like, even in the human realms, there are people that she can find that will accept her as well. So, yeah. And then finally, we have our curator. Now, on one hand, you know, him being into conspiracy theories and believing in flat Earth and believing that demons come from Mars is played for a joke, and it's like, haha, it's funny, but I really wish it wasn't played for a joke, actually, because it's not funny. Like, I think they did a much better job in how they depicted Gwen and understanding why someone would believe those conspiracy theories and like how someone can get sucked into that than they did portraying this guy. Like, I'm actually kind of annoyed that he's just a joke, because this isn't a joke. Like, a lot of young men do get pulled into this ish, and it's not outlandish theories that they believe. Like, it's very uncommon for a conspiracy theory to be as harmless as there are aliens coming from Mars. Like, that's not what the conspiracy theories are. They are usually much more dangerous and come with the whole host of like a cinematic universe of conspiracy theories that target racial minorities, that target women, that target queer people. It is literally twisting a bunch of young men in our country into hate monsters who are willing to cause violence to others. It's not a victimless crime. It's not something to just poke at and be like, haha, it's funny. Like, how stupid was he to believe these things? Like, that's not, like, we already know that it's not a matter of intelligence. Falling for conspiracy theories is not a matter of intelligence. It's a matter of exposure. And so, yeah, radicalization is just not a funny thing, and it's a very real problem. And I don't like that it was treated as a haha joke, look how stupid that guy is, when they handled it so much better when they did Gwen. And considering how dangerous it is and how potent it is, I just wish it had been handled more complexly and better. So there you go. That's kind of a down note to end my breakdown on, but all right, let's get into ratings. So how would I rate this episode? I'm feeling a 3.5, and I think it's suffering from being a mid-season finale because I want more, because I'm not going to see the Owl House for months, and this is just an episode, and it didn't change the status quo in any way, right? Like, Luz returns to the demon realms afterwards. She's told her mom, but like the day-to-day setup of the story hasn't changed. There's been no big shakeups or anything like that. Nothing that she has to like super deal with. It just kind of reiterated that her mom is not supportive of who she is completely, and that's going to be something that has to change by the end of the story. So because of that, because my expectations are high, I can't help it. It makes me rate it a little bit lower. And then also, you know, for me to get over that hump to the 4, I have to like be seriously emotionally engaged. And I really liked Camilla here, but we just haven't spent enough time with her for the ending to be like as emotionally engaging or as emotionally satisfying as like a similar scene with Ida, right, in Agony of a Witch or Young Blood Old Souls. And so, yeah, and I mean, that's assuming it had been a touching moment, but it's not. It's a moment in which Camilla is reinforcing the problem that's between them. So I liked it, and I think it was well put together, and it was just like this solid, like it was just an episode. It was just an episode of the Owl House. And so many of them have this season so far have like had some really interesting status changes, some really interesting conflicts that are explored, and this one was more of a reminder of what we already knew, what conflicts Luz already had, just like fleshing them out a little bit more and reminding you that they existed, and mixed in with some lore, with some new lore, which is interesting. I just don't happen to be like a lore reader in the sense like lore doesn't get me like, it's not the most like the thing I come to a story for most. Mostly I come to a story for character exploration. So because we didn't get like a lot of status changes with the characters, so much as we just got some exploration of what's already there, yeah, I would say a solid 3.5 episode. Yeah, and this season has been amazing. It's really interesting to kind of, like the Owl House has really bookended my summer. I am currently working in schools, and the first episode of the Owl House came out the weekend after, you know, the end of classes and kids went home, and this episode is coming out literally the weekend before kids return to campus. So it's been a great summer, and I really appreciate stories like this, and I just really appreciate stories in general, and in the way that they can touch people and give us moments of joy and grace, because the world can be hard out there, but also really help build understanding and empathy across some of these lines. Like if we're gonna figure out how to be a society, like a multi-ethnic society that respects women and respects queer people, then like having a Latinx queer young woman as a lead in a show and just getting to follow her every week has been really amazing. So I appreciate the work that this show is doing in the world. I appreciate the place it holds in my life, that this is something I look forward to every morning, and I got to spend this time in this world with these characters. And yeah, thanks so much to Terrace and to everyone for an amazing first half of season 2. And I hope we get more than some 3-hour specials in season 3. But whatever we get, I know it's going to be great. So here signing off for the foreseeable future on the Owl House, and I'll see you all when Amphibia comes back, right? Or go ahead and check out some of the other reactions on the channel. I also react to My Next Life as a Villainess, which, if you don't know, is a super bi show. I will sing the praises of season 1 from morning till night. Season 2 has been a little bit rocky, but I still have hope for it. I'm probably going to head over and watch the newest episode right now, actually, because it also comes out on Saturdays on Crunchyroll. I did a Loki review. I started doing What If reviews for Marvel's What If, and as well as Star Trek Lower Decks. So just, you know, I'll be reacting to as many shows as I can reasonably keep up with. And I don't know what that is yet because this is still new to me, but there's a lot of stuff that I like watching, and I'll be doing my best to get reactions out too. Yeah, check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I'll see you somewhere in one of those videos, or when the Owl House returns, or, you know, as we all know, Amphibia Season 3 coming up. Peace. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this reaction and breakdown, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Please give the video a like, comment, share with your friends, help my channel grow. I would love to do more of these and just share my thoughts on more stories with you. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.